So here we're looking at the abdominal contents of the horse. We're over here on the left side. On this side, we can see the left kidney. Attaching the kidney to the spleen is the nephrosplenic ligament, which may be a problem for a loop of bowel getting tucked up over that and get it entrapped. We can see here with a very long mesentery descending colon, or the small colon. We see that it has saculations as well as a band. We're going to have a band here as well as here. And also up in this area we see quite a bit of jejunum here. Okay, back here we should be able to see the pelvic flexure, where our left ventral colon becomes our left dorsal colon. Notice the narrowing here, good place for obstruction to occur. We can see that the ventral colon is sacculated, and once again the dorsal colon is not. And on this dorsal colon, the single band is in this mesentery here. Okay, so once again, here's the spleen, and we can see the stomach sitting here. Remember, the greater curvature is going to be towards the left side, and here we can see some of the greater omentum attaching to that greater curvature. Look up here at the kidney once again. There should be, right about here, at the cranial pole of the kidney is going to be the adrenal gland. We can see the celiac artery, which is going to branch very quickly after coming off, and more caudal to it is the cranial mesenteric artery, which strongylus vulgaris migration can cause an aneurysm there. That's about all we can see on this side. So let's go to the other side. So under here we see the pylorus, and then the descending duodenum coming back. Okay, here's the descending duodenum coming around, becoming ascending duodenum. We should be able to find back on this side. So here we see with the ascending duodenum and the descending colon, duodenal colon fold, and then we go into jejunum here. Okay, back to the other side. Okay, we can also see our right kidney hanging right here. The base of the cecum should be sitting up right here in the flank. And if we pull it to this side, we can see that the ileum coming in with a very nice ileocecal fold attaching those two structures. So our base of the cecum, as I said, is sitting here in the flank, and then we'll have the apex of it coming down more midline towards the xiphoid. We can see down under here, the sacculated structure down here is going to be the right ventral colon. Okay, and then we see above it the right dorsal colon, and immediately cranial to the base of the cecum, also cranial to the root of the mesentery, is going to be the very short transverse colon going from right to left. We can't see that here, but we'll see that in an isolated specimen. Our liver is very similar to that in the bovine, in that it's not as lobated as we see in the dog. We can't see it so well on this specimen, but we do have a left lobe that is on the left side. Actually, it's both a left lateral and left medial. And then we have the falciform ligament here that's going to divide the left from the quadrate. We don't have a gallbladder. Gallbladder would be sitting here, and that would divide the quadrate from the right, and then we'd have to go much deeper in here to see the caudate lobe, which we cannot see. Between the caudate lobe of the liver and the mesoduodenum, we find the epiploic foramen. Epiploic foramen, here we can see the descending duodenum. Okay, that's about all we can see in these specimens. So let's now have a look at the equine GI tract. Okay, so we've got the apex of the cecum pointing towards the head, and we have our large colon wrapping around it that way. Okay, so our esophagus comes in, and our greater curvature of the stomach is going to be on the left side. We open that up, we see that we have an esophageal region of the stomach here, which is the keratinized stratified squamous epithelium portion. We have a margo plicatus, which is the plicated margin between that and the glandular portion of the stomach. Okay. And then as we go into the duodenum, we can see here the major duodenal papilla. Remember, in the horse we don't have a gallbladder, so what is emptying upon here is going to be the common hepatic duct rather than the common bile duct. Okay, so we have descending duodenum, ascending duodenum. We still have a little bit of that duodenocolic. Here's the descending colon. So the ascending duodenum, descending colon has that duodenocolic ligament here, a little bit left. Then we go into the jejunum. We've got a lot of jejunum here. And then as that small intestine comes back towards the cecum, we're going to have the ileum here. And we can see it's been torn away, but it attached all along here is that ileocecal fold. So these mesenteries are very consistent. Okay, so we have our cecum here. Coming out at the base of the cecum is going to be the right ventral portion of our large colon, and then that's going to come around to the left side as our left ventral portion. Both of those are going to have saculations, as is the cecum. Those are the areas that our hindgut fermenting is primarily taking place. Remember, when you go from the cecum into that ventral colon, there's a hole of only about that big, this cecocolic orifice. That's a good place for blockage to occur. Likewise, where we go narrowing down from the left ventral colon to the left dorsal colon, we narrow down here, so the pelvic flexure is a good place for blockage. Okay, so that we are left dorsal colon, we had a sternal flexure with our ventral colon up here. On the dorsal colon we have a diaphragmatic flexure here cranially, and then we become larger once again as our right dorsal colon. As we cross cranial to the base of the cecum, we are the transverse. Let's see, where is that? There it is, right there. We have our transverse colon, and then once again our descending colon. Okay, we mentioned the bands. We've got a band here and a band here. So on the cecum, there are 4 bands. We've got a band in here, one in here. Remember, there's always at least one or more. There's the 4th one here that are covered by mesentery. So we have 4 in the cecum, 4 in the ventral colon. So we have, those are all sitting on the floor of the abdomen, so 4 on the floor. When we come up here to our left dorsal, there's 1 hidden in the mesentery here. Then we see we add 2 more here. And so we have 1 on the left and we have 3 on the right, 1 being hidden down here. So what I remember is 3 right turns equals 1 left turn. Okay, and then in our transverse, in our descending colon. We have one in the mesentery, one here, so we have in the transverse and descending colons, we have bands too. Okay, 2 bands. Okay, and so that transverse colon, where it narrows down once again, is another good place for blockage to occur. And that is the equine GI.